Audie and Sydney were kind of saying that they thought maybe the turning point for this team was the Kansas game. Do you sense that too?
I mean, everyone has a right to their opinion. I don't know. I mean, obviously it was an important game for us. I think you can always look at certain games that turned, the tide one way or the other.
Yeah.
I could say the same about Cincinnati.
Sure.
But yeah, Kansas was. I thought we played really, really well. I thought it's a team that we've always, has struggled with down there. So, I can see why they would say that. Yeah.
How are you guys doing health-wise? I know.
Yeah, we're pretty good. I mean, I think it's like everyone. It's the end of the season, and now there's no one that's not available to play. I guess would be the best way to put it. Practice and a few other things. It's like I said, it's not real encouraging sometimes when we went to Baylor. I took a picture and Addie Brown, AJ, and Emily Ryan are going up the steps in a boot. So, but they all can play.
They make you feel young.
They all can play. It's just how do we manage practice? How do we manage what happens after this tournament kind of stuff? But yeah, we're pretty good. Yeah.
What do you think of the season that Addie has put together? Now that we're through the regular season phase, how would you?
I think she's been tremendous. I mean, her numbers are. I mean, if you really, and again, I haven't crunched the numbers, but I have put staff that do. I mean, if you look at what she's done in every statistical category, there are not many players in our league better.
Yep.
I mean, when you really think about it, and what we ask her to do, the minute she's playing, I think she's been tremendous, and I think it's it's a credit to how hard she's worked, and how committed she is to being a really good player. But I wouldn't trade her for anyone. I don't care what anybody says. I don't know how all the votes are going to come out. Doesn't matter to me. The kid can really play.
What's it say that Audie, on the flip side, had so many expectations coming into this year, and it seems like she's lived up to them?
No, she has. I think she's lived up to them and more. But again, that it speaks to her as a human, her as a person, how she was raised. I think it does speak to the work that my staff's done with her on a daily basis. And I don't think you can minimize that she's playing with Emily Ryan and Addie Brown. I mean, I've said this, Audie's really good, but Audie has to have someone throw her the ball. We don't inbound the ball to her. We don't let her dribble up and run off ball screens and create her own offense. So it's a combination of a lot of work on her part to get better, and that's got to continue. It's all about availability and doing all the stuff behind the scenes and being good in your rehab and your strength and conditioning stuff. And she's worked herself through that part of it, and now the next step is just to continue that. But she's had a phenomenal season, and the numbers again are really, really good.
What do you think of how the overall bracket plays out? Because I know you focus on one game, but I think naturally everybody breaks it down too.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because you start looking at some of the teams in our league have been really, really good at home. Some of the teams, the matchups in our league, I'm sure it's every league, but for me, there's styles that really fit and styles that don't. And it seems like somehow, some way, Baylor's always in our bracket in the Big 12 tournament. I think if Kansas State and West Virginia play, usually what happens in these conference tournaments, if you get to the quarterfinals, they're all NCAA tournament type games. My guess is all 8 teams have a chance to be in it. So it becomes really good. And obviously TCU's played at a high level. They won it and they deserve to win it. But I don't know that I would say I'd be surprised by 4 or 5 different teams could go down there and win. That would not surprise me. Normally, I don't know that that's the case. I do honestly think there's 4 or 5 teams that, because of the bracket and because of the way they're playing, if things fall the right way, they could win it.
I'm assuming you think you're one of the 4 or 5.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think it would take something unique, but that's okay. That's what this. It's fun to. It's a great event. Kansas City does a phenomenal job, and we're looking forward to what comes up.
Bill, how much of an adventure was it trying to set a rotation with defined rules throughout the season? And how much maybe does the fact that those rules seem to finally be taking shape coincide with the fact that you guys have won whatever 6 or 7 and you beat Kansas State?
Yeah. So the first question, it's been the hardest thing we've done in maybe forever. I mean, it just never, we could never, and again, it's not the kids' fault, it's my fault. I mean, what I didn't want to do, and again, in retrospect, I should have just said, this is what we're going to do, we're going to go with it. And I didn't. I kept giving everyone chances, and then one kid would do something really well one night, and then it'd fall off, and then, we were always trying to manage Emily Ryan's minutes. AJ got hurt. So I don't know. But I do think now, yeah, I mean, like you look at most teams across the country, their bench, your rotation starts to shrink a little bit. But I think the biggest thing is you have to give Kelsey Jones a lot of credit. I mean, that's a kid that was kind of the one that was all over the place as far as minutes. And once we made that decision, and I don't know exactly the day we did, but I just said, this is what we're going to go with. And in game to game, who's the sub based on, matchup wise. And she's been tremendous. And I think giving our team something that we were probably, I don't know, missing is the right word, but just wasn't, the pieces just weren't going together. And but again, that's not on the kids, that's on me. I kept thinking, I just want to give everyone chances, hoping something would happen, and the more we did that, probably the worse it got. But I'm really proud of Kelsey and the way she's handled it.
I was going to say, it seemed like she was the key to unlock that, because you don't know, because of minutes you played sporadically, how she's going to respond to starters role. She's a Jones, so you probably have an idea.
Right.
But her consistency on the offensive end, the flying around she usually does, it seemed like almost everyone was like, okay, we see what she's doing, and I can accept this role, whatever it is.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think you can't, the one thing you cannot ever, I mean, everyone's like, I should be playing, and that's a good thing. You should want to play. Now, can you quantify it and be fair about, like, I always tell them, if you were sitting in my seat, would you play you over them? Those answers are interesting sometimes. But no one can debate how hard Kelsey Jones plays. No one can debate how much she cares. So it's like, and I think there was some comfort, and again, you don't know, but like, she's been here, so she's in with Addie and Audie and AJ, they're in the same. So I think there was some comfort level there as well, but she's earned everything she's gotten, and she really, there's a lot of reasons, but you'd have a hard time telling me that she's not one of the top couple reasons why this team has kind of found its groove a little bit, and hopefully that will continue.
Do you think you found the ideal lineup and rotation for your team, or does it really not matter with when March is, like, where we're at on the calendar? Is what I'm trying to say.
There's no question who the starting 5 is. That's not going to change.
Yeah.
I think rotationally, there's still, I mean, Sid's number 1 off the bench, so there's your 6. I think LT and Willie, who's going to get those 8 minutes. I thought LT was the best one on Sunday, so she got a couple more minutes. So I think that one's in flux. And then in the other spot, I still think, depending on who we're playing, is it Lily, is it Tank, is it Reagan? I don't think those are 8 to 10, 12 minutes that I think is going to be based within a game. But I think the 6 plus some post player for sure. And I think I don't see that changing at all now.
And how much does the one against Kansas State ease your, tournament hopes? I know you still want to go take care of business at
Right.
Big 12, but how much does that kind of get that monkey off your back? Like, it doesn't seem like there's any chance you guys are going to be left out.
I guess I would say I'm one of those people that, and my staff laughs at me all the time, like, you don't know until you actually see it, but there's no doubt that in my mind that we should be a team that's selected. I mean, you win 12 conference games, you win 21 games, everyone, you finally got a quad 1 win, okay, we got that out of the way. I mean, every team we've lost to, with the exception of you and I on the road, who no one knows how hard that is going to be in the NCAA tournament. So I don't know. I mean, when you look at if you just sat there and compared to some other team, I think we're fine. But again, I've done this long enough to know that. And then you get into the wrong winners and all that stuff. But I don't think there's any question that people who follow that stuff had a different opinion of our team, right or wrong, at 5 o'clock on Sunday than they did leading up to it. I guess would be a simple answer.
Well, the Big 12 tournament's something that you've won multiple times as a coach. Just for this year to make your way through the bracket, what would it mean to win it with this group?
I think anytime you can do something like that at this level, and I think it's we won it in the last year at Municipal Auditorium, which was kind of cool. Obviously, Emily Ryan is it's her last year, but it would be I think it would be one of the hardest things we've ever done if we even came close to it, because you look at our league again and you look at the top 6 teams in our league. I went through it this morning, and everyone's seniors, graduate students, so our top half of our league is really old, and that seems to be I've said that to you guys many times, that seems to be the model, and not the model that we use. But I think you'd have to play at a ridiculously high level, but that's what March is about, and that's what's exciting about playing in this conference and playing in these kind of tournaments.